Hi, today's video is this cute card with this little elderly lady sitting on a chair, and the sentiment says, "Life is short, smile while you still have teeth." It's a set by Aall Create, which is here, number 780, quite cute, has several different sentiments, and today I've used it to make this card. If you want to see how it's done, stay tuned. Hi, let's get started then. I'm using this stamp set from Aall Create. It's number 780. Quite a cute little stamp with 3 different sentiment options. I love these kooky little characters with the strange oddball eyes, which is quite good fun. Okay, so I've got a piece of general stamping card here. This is 7 by 5, and the first thing we're going to do is take my stamping platform and actually just stamp the image and the sentiment. So I'm going to just use basic black ink for this, and then we're going to colour with Arteza pens, do a bit of inking around the edge, and just make it into a fun card. So in terms of placement, I think I'm going to put her, because she's kind of straight on her left side, I'm going to put her kind of to the left, not in the middle, and then I'm going to put the sentiment to the right. Now, life is short, smile while you still have teeth is quite a good one. Age only matters if you are cheese. I think I'll go with the teeth one because I think that's quite funny. I've not used these stamps before, so the first thing I'm going to do, just give them a little clean with a damp cloth. And also I usually bend them around a bit as well, because when they're brand new, they often have dust from the manufacturing process on them. So the first time you go to stamp them, they don't actually stamp awfully well. But also, it's good to just give them a little bit of a bend, because I find it kind of loosens up the rubber a little bit. And also, if you put them on your hand, the kind of grease from your hand picks up a lot of the dust as well. So let's do this now. So I think we'll go something like that. So we've got some nice white space on the card, and that should look quite nice, and we can do a bit of inking around the edge. Okay, just going to use my basic black VersaFine. This is a pigment ink, Onyx Black, which is the best for stamping. And because I'm using my platform, if it doesn't do it perfectly first time, I can always redo it. These Aall Create stamps, though, they do tend to stamp quite well, so not usually a problem. There we go, that's quite good. I will just give it another go. The ink pad is a little bit old, just to make sure it's nice and solid. Just while I'm letting that rest, I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder, which I keep in the tub, and we will give that a clear emboss. See, look how nice and strong that is now. Just give that a bit of clear embossing powder so that I can colour it and it will sit nicely. Okay. Before I do anything else, I'm going to get my heat gun. I just noticed actually I've got some embossing powder where I don't want it. There we go, just got rid of that. It makes it nice and black, and also gives me a bit of a line to colour up to. These characters are great, they really are quite kooky. Hit the back. Okay, that's done. Put that aside. Let me just clean the stamp. Just using a damp cloth. Just give that a bit of clean, and then let's put that back into its plastic. Get some of these in the packet sometimes. It's like Mensa. Okay. Right, that's the only stamping we're going to do on this card, so I can happily put my stamping platform away. All right, just give that a little bend. Okay. So we've got our base image. A little mark on here I've noticed at the top here, but I don't know if that will be a problem. But we're also going to ink some edges, so I think that will come off. There you go, it's pretty much come off already anyway. Okay, so I think the first thing we'll do is actually colour the image. I've got my Arteza pens here. These are watercolour pens. I've got some blue Tim Holtz Ranger Distress Ink here in broken china, so I'm going to give it a blue edge. So I definitely want some blue inside. I might do her dress in a blue. So I'm just going to go straight in for it. I've got my water brush here. So I'm just going to go in. Now, as this is watercolour card I'm using, I don't need an awful lot of colour. So I'm just going to go in and put a few bits around the edges, and then I'll show you how I blend that in and create texture. So you've seen my videos before, there are plenty on my channel, you'll know how I do this, but for any first timer, you don't want too much colour. So take your water pen, I'm not even squeezing it, I'm just going to literally use it as it is. Just go over. What you're doing, you're pulling the colour away from where you dropped it. It gets rid of the line, and it also then uses the colour to colour the area. But by doing it like this, you give yourself texture. I'm making the right pig's ear of this actually. I might always have a piece of kitchen towel next year because I've already screwed that up in there. So I'm just going to wet that with a piece of clean, and then I've also gone onto the hand as well, which I'm just going to take off there. There we go. Right, let's go a bit slower. So you're literally just going over where you've dropped the colour. And as you can see, it kind of pulls the colour into the middle of the card, and you end up with some nice shading around the edge. So you can use this, it saves on ink, but also it gives you a nice sort of shadow effect. There we go. So I think that looks quite cool actually. Now you can always go back in, if you want to highlight some particular areas, you can always go back in with a little bit more colour. How I would do that is I would get an acrylic block, I would put the colour directly on the block, and you just need a tiny little bit, and then just take it from your block and go straight in. So like here, under the arm would be darker, the back would be darker. So literally put some colour on and then kind of blend it in. Under her boobs would be darker. Under the arm there'd be probably a bit of shadow. And just kind of dot it, so keep sort of dotting like that, and you'll find it will settle down. And then round the bottom and across the other side. Always blend it in, otherwise you'll end up with hard lines, which we don't want. There we go, I think the dress is done. Kind of gives us a bit of blue. And what I might do, use the same blue for the eyes. So I would pop some blue down on one side, dry my brush, and then just pull that across. So you end up with like a blue fade. Again, straight in with the blue, over to that side. Okay, so her eyes are done. Okay, what colour hair would she have? I think she'll have brown, I think. So like, so blob a bit of brown down, pull that out with your water brush, and obviously share that around. And then I'm actually going to go in with the brown directly, just into these dark bits. There we go. Obviously she's got a lot of face, so we need a skin tone. I've got here my peach, which is a good colour for skin. Actually, I'm going to put that onto my block because the brush on this is a bit damaged. It's had a lot of use. And then I'm going to take the colour directly from there. Now, when I do skin tone, my friend Denise was asking me about this the other day, I always layer it up. So start off with a wash across the whole thing in a very, very pale colour. And then take some more colour. And then start building it up in layers. So pick a side. So on this one, for instance, I pretty much always do the left-hand side, but make one side darker, i.e. the light is coming from one place. Now you can put your brush straight onto the actual paper, but if you do that, it does give you less control. So I'm actually going to add another colour in here. So I've got something like this is orange rust. I'm just going to put some of that next to my pink and then just mix the two together on the acrylic block. Now that looks quite dark, so I'm just going to take a little bit off and then just go in with that. So I'll go in around the nose, the mouth, under the eyes, the left-hand side of the eyeballs, and around there. Now, at the moment, that looks a complete mess. If I then take that off and then blend that in, you see we start to build up the colour. So again, a little on her hands, a little on her legs. Yeah, that must be skin. And then I'm going in again. Taking that off and then gently blending where I'm joining. There we go. Okay. Just gonna wash my brush just by squeezing it and just taking a little bit of water out. Right, her pearls, I think we will do them in quite a bright colour, like maybe a bright red. So I'm just gonna colour those directly. because I want quite a bright colour. And what I might do is give her matching brilliant red earrings and shoes. She's quite a funky old lady. And then I think the shoes as well. You can see I've gone into the skin tone there a little bit, not a problem. I'll just blend that in. Okay, it's gone. Okay. So, she's looking quite funky. I'm just going to quickly go over that with my brush, just to kind of even the colour out a little bit. Maybe add a little bit in the hair. Okay, and now we need to do the chair. I think, I mean, it's wood, I suppose, so we need a kind of a mid-brown. So I'm just going to take this brown. I think we've got, so that's chair. That's obviously chair. That's chair, I guess. So I'm not spending too much time or effort on that. What I'm going to do is just blend that in with my water brush so we get kind of like a nice faded texture. Now I've got a very fine bit there. And I've also made a pig there of that, so I just need to take that off. And here as well. This is the good thing about watercolour pens. You can correct things quite easily. There we go. What I will do as well, just go back in with the brown, make things like the side there just a little darker, and one of the two bits on the leg a little bit darker. Make it look a little bit more 3D. Just gives it a bit more texture. There we go. So that's her pretty much coloured, to be honest. She's a little bit orange, but hey, could just go over this. Just take a little bit. Oh, I think I quite like her as she is, actually. Okay, cool. Wipe your block, and that's our colouring done. I just noticed I've managed to get some up here. I don't know quite how I did that. But again, just go over it with a piece of clean cloth, a little bit of water, and that'll come off. There we go. Okay, so that's our colouring done. Then I'm going to go in with my blue Distress Ink. I want just a gentle kind of blend here. What I'm going to do is get a piece of scrap. So I've got some black, and I'm just going to gently go around the edges. I want it dark on the edge and then lighter as I move up the card. So starting off the paper, you can always add, but it's very difficult to take away. So I'm going round and round in circular motions, and this will apply a gentle layer of the blue. And I've got a mark there, I don't know quite why, but couple of marks actually. There's one there, one there, one that's going really well. Right, let's keep going. The darker you want it, obviously, the more you go over. Just working my way around. Nice and dark on the corners, and then just that last side now. I don't know what I've done. I've done something on my desk here and it's wobbling like hell. I'm not sure if it's my paper recycling box or what, but something is very annoying. Okay. So you can see that does just give it a bit more interest. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to just do like a little edge around this text box. Just to kind of highlight it. Not adding loads of ink, just using what I've got on my blender. Just to make a little bit more of a feature of it. There we go. Life is short, smile while you still have teeth. I quite like it. It just kind of highlights it a little bit. Okay. Now, the other thing I will do as well is I will just blue the edges. Now, what I'm thinking to do is, because we've got a lot of very white area, and also we've got those two little marks, I will probably use some kind of a stencil just to give it a little bit more texture and also cover that up. So I'm just looking at my box of stencils. Let's have a look at what we've got. We've got lots of different ones. I don't want anything too kind of dramatic, but just something in the background just to give it a little bit of texture would be quite nice. I've got that one, but I'm wondering if it's going to be a bit too busy. I don't want anything too dominant because I want it to be quite simple and all about the imagery. Actually, something really simple like circles could be quite good, and also that will let us cover up those two marks. Where is that one? So that one is there, and that one is there. Yeah, that'll be perfect. Use the same colour. What I'm doing is I'm going darker towards the edge and lighter towards the middle of the card. Just gives it a little bit more interest. And then I shall do the similar at the bottom. I don't want it everywhere, but I'm just going to give it a little bit more interest. There we go. And that does make quite a difference. You can see it's quite a last minute touch, but it actually does make quite a difference, and it's helped kind of cover that up. So that looks quite nice. That's absolutely fine now. Do I need to finish these circles off down the page? Maybe just a hint on the edge. There you go. And then similarly on this side, I reckon. Because they don't probably even line up perfectly. No, they don't, but there we go. Let them fade away, and then that won't even highlight the issue. Okay, that's our body of the card done. So what I shall now do is, first start, I shall put all the stuff away. I love these Arteza pens. This is the same set I bought probably 3 years ago, and not one of them's run out yet. And I'm still using them, and I'm still using the actual water brush that came with them, even though I've actually bought a set of 3. So that's quite a good deal. Okay, let's just move that out of the way. I'm just going to dry my work surface quickly. And then all we need to do now is mount our card onto a backing layer and stick on a card blank. And that's a super quick and simple card for today. So I'm just going to grab a piece of black, and then we will double side the back of this. A little bit in the middle for luck. And I'm just going to take those tapes off. This is just basic double-sided tape, absolutely nothing fancy at all. And then just going to blob that down, just by eye. And then I will give that a trim with my ruler and my scalpel, again, just by eye. Okay, that's cut. And then again with a double-sided, can use glue obviously, whichever you're most comfortable with. I tend to use tape. And then I'm peeling off this time, but doing the bunny ears trick. Right, I'm just going to grab a 7x5 card blank. which I have here. I just need to fold. My hands are absolutely filthy from a project earlier. I've got blue all over them. Just make sure that's in the right place. And then stick that down. And because we've got the tape, it's kind of floating on the surface, which just allows us to wiggle it around and get it in the right place, which I think is about there. And then pull the tapes off and stick it down. Go. I've got a little blue mark there, but I think we're going to get away with that. There you go. So there's today's card in super quick time. Hope you enjoyed watching that. If you did, maybe like my video and like and subscribe to my channel, where you'll find other videos that are quite similar. Crafts by John UK on Etsy, Instagram, TikTok, all over the place. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.